Okay, Shalom, Yasharallah, back. The word of the Most High. We in Exodus, the 20th chapter, 13th verse. Exodus 20 and 13. It says, "But the house of Israel rebelled against me in the wilderness. They walked not in my statutes, and they despised my judgment." This we, the children of Israel. He said, we ain't walk in the Most High statutes, but despise his judgments. Which if a man do, he shall even live in them. And my statutes, they greatly polluted. Then I said, I would pour out my fury upon them in the wilderness to consume them. Once we left out of Egypt and went into the wilderness, we rebelled against the Most High. He said, but I wrath for my name's sake, for his name's sake, his name's sake. Because his name is in our name, Yah, Shar Allah. You see? But I wrath for my name's sake that I should not be polluted before the heathen, in whose sight I brought them out. Out from what heathen? The Egyptians, so-called Africans, Hamites, as we've been going over. Yet also I lifted up my hand unto them in the wilderness, who is the angel of the Most High, or Mashiach Yahushua, as an angel of the Most High, the Spirit of the Most High, unto them in the wilderness, that I would not bring them into the land which I had given them. Not the adults, only Joshua and Caleb, but adults came in. He killed all the men, 600,000 strong we came. So we killed what? Army, 600,000. He killed 599,998. You understand? All the men. Killed all the women and only brought the youths, our children that we had in the wilderness in 40 years. Yet also I lifted up my hand unto them in the wilderness, that I would not bring them into the land which I had given them, flowing with milk and honey, which is the glory of all lands. You hear that? So we look at 2nd Ezra, the 5th chapter, and you see, you can find out the things that the Most High loved and he cared about. Verse 23, in the Apocrypha, it say, and said, O Most High, that beareth rule of every wood of the earth, and of all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen thee one only vine. That's the grapevine. And of all lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit. And that's the land of Israel. And of all the flowers thereof, one lily. These are things that the Most High loved, a lily. And of all the depths of the sea, thou hast filled thee one river. That's the Jordan. And of all builded cities, thou hast hallowed Zion unto thyself. And of all the fowls that are created, thou hast named thee one dove. He liked the dove. And of all the cattle that are made, thou hast provided thee one sheep. He liked the sheep. And among all the multitudes of peoples, thou hast gotten thee one people. And that's the 12 tribes of Israel. And unto this people, whom thou lovest, thou gavest a law that is approved of all. See? He gave us the law, like we read in Psalms 147, 19 and 20. He gave the Israelites the law. So, continuing, in Ezekiel 20, and verse 15 again, it says, yet also I lifted up my hand unto them in the wilderness, that I would not bring them into the land which I had given them, flowing with milk and honey, which is the glory of all lands. I just read it. That one land that he loved was the land of Israel, that he gave to us, because they despised my judgments and walked not in my statutes, but polluted my Sabbaths. For their heart, which is our minds, went after their idols. So we went after idols. That's why I say Most High said, all you need is me. But we went after idols. When he said, all you need is me. We had the power of powers of powers of powers of powers, etc., 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 to eternity. He would come down and consume a sacrifice of the organs of the animals that we supposed to eat, no organs, but those were sweet savors to the Most High, the fat. Fire would come down from heaven, from the sky, and consume it up. And the nation's seeing this. And you know his voice is thunder. You're hearing the strong thunder. He's speaking. Ooh. Y'all know about thunder? Thunder be so loud that you sit still. More than that. Because it made everybody afraid. And that's how it's going to be in these last days. You think you really heard something? You ain't heard nothing. Till he really show up and show out. And everybody going to bow down. And they're going to know who the Most High's chosen people are. Because he's going to make sure, as it is written in prophecy, that everybody know. And they're going to be gravitating to us, the children of Israel. Most High will if it's us. If we're worthy. Verse 16, because they despised my judgments and walked not in my statutes, but polluted my Sabbaths. For their heart, their mind went after their idols. It's serious. Nevertheless, mine eye spared them from destroying them. Hear that? But in this time, as it is written, he's going to destroy you. 2/3 of our people going to be destroyed. Only 1/3 going to make it through. And a remnant of these other nations that's going to come and have to deal with learning under Mashiach Yahushua and the Israelites through the power of the Most High forever and ever and ever. He said, neither did I make an end of them in the wilderness. But I said unto their children in the wilderness, walk ye not in the statutes of your fathers. Don't be wicked like your fathers was. Like us. We got to not be wicked like our forefathers was. Our fathers and grandfathers and so forth didn't know. Trying to tell us just the right way. And it wasn't the right way. Because we learned the scriptures and we learned, whoa, Most High gave us rules and regulations to follow. He gave us holy days. He gave us moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws to follow. Sabbath days, like we in now, Sabbath days, to honor him, to glorify him and his word, and not do our own thing, our own pleasure and so forth. But no. But I said unto the children in the wilderness, walk ye not in the statutes of your fathers. He killed everybody. In 40 years, we walked around that wilderness, he killed everybody, all the adults but Joshua and Caleb. So y'all think in your wildest dreams that you already got a path and you already gonna make it to the kingdom? You better understand and overstand. Look, you say the righteous scarcely gonna be saved. Hold that. We're coming back there. Look at Jeremiah 3rd chapter in verse 14. All you gainsayers out there that think that you already made it to the kingdom, you done did enough, you big and bold and thinking that you already gonna be there for whatever it is that you doing yourself, read this. Jeremiah 3:14. Turn, he said, oh backsliding children, said the Most High, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one. You hear that? I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and I will bring you into Zion, bring you to the kingdom. You ready for that? What if it's someone that's of our family, our lineage that was before we lived? Or that's coming after us? Do you know? That's why you got to humble yourself before the Most High and do what he say do, or got the lake of fire. You got a chance to choose life or death. We chose death from the beginning, over and over and over and over and over again. We chose death. Do y'all realize that? The Most High said, choose life, eat of the tree of life, and you can live forever. Don't eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, or you're going to die. That day you eat of it, you're going to die. I went over the lesson last night where we were living. Methuselah lived, what, 969 years? The Most High cut it from that amount of time to 120 years. And that wasn't good enough, so we so rebellious, he said, okay, well, I'm giving you 10. That's 70 years. A score is 20. Cut it down to 70 years. And some of you make it to 70 years. Anything over that, you blessed. It's a blessing. In our day and time now, where Methuselah lived 969 years, y'all realize that? Almost 1,000 years. Nobody lived a day, which a day to the Most High is 1,000 years. Ain't nobody make it there. But just to show you that we lived that long. And you say, hey, I'm tired. It repented me that I even made man on the earth. Destroy them all. Like he said, hey. He told us. Verse 18, but I said unto their children, of Ezekiel 20th chapter, in the wilderness, walk ye not in the statutes of your fathers, neither observe their judgments, nor defile yourselves with their idols. See? The idols now is different religions and so forth. That the Most High didn't give you. Show me your religion in the Bible. Whatever religion you in. Show me your religion in the Bible. Because the Most High gave us laws, statutes, and commandments to go by. He didn't give us no religion. If you got a religion, you need to come out of it. And realize that you are the children of Israel. And come back and learn His laws, statutes, and commandments. And fear the Most High. Cry to the Most High. You can't do that if you're prideful, though. If your religion made you so prideful, a lot of these religions make people prideful. And you can't be no Christian religious person as an Israelite, too. You bring in your Christian type of way into Israel when you got to let it all go and start to learn how it is for our culture as the Israelites. That's how you're going to come into a higher level of understanding, spiritually. Because you're not going to come spiritually because you're still holding on to something that you don't want to feel that you was off. And feeling that you was right, always comparing this to your religion. You might as well stay in your religion that didn't teach you a damn thing, as you know now. A lot of you know now, being an Israelite. But some still keep holding on to it because, look, you got to understand, David prayed that we remain in darkness, ignorance, not knowing. The Most High told Esau, who was the superpower of the earth, to get into darkness, in Isaiah 47:5. And when he went into darkness, he put the people in gross darkness, gross ignorance, so that you don't know. And here we are today, trying to bring our people out of the gross darkness, the gross ignorance, because they can't, with darkness, you can't see the light. The light is the laws of the Most High. What they selling you not under, so you're in darkness because you can't see the light. And Mashiach will say, he the light shining bright, came over here to show us, hey, it could be done. I'm coming in the flesh. I'm coming in from the seed of man, seed of David, to show you they can be done. And what he was weak too. Tell you the Most High to get him out of here, because his understanding has been twisted, bewitching of naughtiness, all the wickedness that was in the world. Had to get him out of here. But what did he say? He said, let this cup pass from me, but let thy will be done. You see? To let thy will be done. What was the will of the Most High? It pleased the Most High to bruise him. He had put him to grief. He suffered a lot for us. Look at that movie, Passion. It's a beat down from the beginning to the end. That's what he went through for us. No remission of sin without the shedding of blood. Verse 19, he said, I am the Most High your power. Walk in my statutes and keep my judgments and do them. Tell them to our children. We the children that was in the wilderness of our forefathers. He killed all the adults, like I said, with Joshua and Caleb. and hallow my Sabbaths, make them holy. And they shall be a sign between me and you, that ye may know that I am the Most High your power. Notwithstanding, the children rebelled against me. You know? The children rebelled against the Most High. This is what we did. They walked not in my statutes, neither kept my judgments to do them, which if a man do, he shall even live in them. They polluted my Sabbaths. Then I said, I would pour out my fury upon them to accomplish my anger. To accomplish my anger against them in the wilderness. He put us to death, y'all. Nevertheless, I withdrew mine hand and wrought for my name's sake. You know, he keeps saying his name's sake, not for our name's sake. Well, a lot of people think, oh, it's got to be this way because I'm an Israelite. He said he's doing this for his name's sake. Say, for my name's sake. That I should not be polluted in the sight of the heathen, in whose sight I brought them forth. That he wouldn't be polluted. His name wouldn't be polluted in the sight of the heathen. We were in the Egyptian captivity, under the Egyptians. So I lifted up mine hand unto them also in the wilderness, that I would scatter them among the heathen and disperse them through the countries, like he told us in Deuteronomy 28:64. And when we go on, he scatters among these nations, we're going to serve what? Wood and stone. That's these religions that we see now. Wood and stone. Because they had not executed my judgments, but had despised my statutes, and had polluted my Sabbaths, and their eyes were after their fathers' idols. You hear that? Just like a lot of our people. They are stuck in religion because, oh, my grandmother was in this. My granddaddy was in this. You know, my mama was in this. My daddy was in this. So they following suit with their fathers, just like it was then, the same way it is now. And the anger of the Most High is going to come upon you just like he did here. You know, ain't nothing new under the sun. You dealing with idolatry. Wherefore I gave them also statutes that were not good. You know? He gave us statutes that were not good, and judgment whereby they should not live. Ooh. And I polluted them in their own gifts, and that they caused to pass through the fire all that openeth the womb, the children, the sons and the daughters of the Most High, we the children of Israel, that I might make them desolate, to the end that they might know that I am the Most High. That's why you understand, he always say, and you're going to know that he is the Most High. And the people that are ruling down, when he set up a righteous kingdom on this earth, they going to know that he is the Most High. He said, therefore, Son of Man, speak unto the house of Israel, and say unto them, thus said the Most High power, the power of Abraham, who had a son named Isaac, who had a son named Jacob. Most High said that's his name forever, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They say this is my name forever and memorial to all generations. He said, therefore, Son of Man, speak unto the house of Israel, and say unto them, thus said the Most High power, yet in this your fathers have blasphemed me, in that they have committed a trespass against me. For when I had brought them into the land, for the which I lifted up mine hand to give it to them, then they saw every high hill and all the thick trees, and they offered there their sacrifices, and they presented the provocation of their offering. There also they made their sweet savor and poured out their drink offerings. Then I said unto them, what is the high place whereunto ye go? And the name thereof is called Bamah unto this day. Wherefore say unto the house of Israel, talking to us 12 tribes of Israel, thus say the Most High power, are ye polluted after the manner of your fathers, and commit ye whoredom after their abominations? You gonna do the same things they did? And I told you not to follow what they're doing? Just like our parents, we as Israelites, they probably say, hey, what are you doing? You celebrated Christmas. We celebrated Christmas all your life when you was little. Why you can't do that? Because it's pagan. Easter, pagan. Halloween, that they getting ready to call down the pike, hey, is straight pagan. Heathenistic. Abomination to the Most High. How you going to say that Halloween is holy? Holy Halloween, huh? Did that make sense? The Day of the Dead, the Day of the Devil, Satan, rebuke the devil. You cock about show myself outside, But this is what we're looking at. Because you don't have nothing else to follow. Because you don't want to come back to his rules and regulations, his laws, statutes, and commandments. We just dealing with tabernacles. 7 days. Altogether 8 days. First day of Holy Convocation, the 8th day of Holy Convocation. And in between, our feast days last sometimes 7, 8 days. We can have a good time. But are people in the spirit to be able to realize this? Even those y'all Israelites, every day is supposed to be a joyous time. You got that one day you come together, the rest of the day you back to the world, however you gonna be. I've seen it. In all these years, man, it's the same old. People come in this and they like, okay, well, we got a holy day here, we got a holy day, then go right back to the world when it's supposed to be 7 days. Think about it. Keep this in mind because all this is going against us in the books. It's a joyous time. He said, you're rejoicing. Get rid of all that negative and all that stuff. You got opportunity, man. But you see what we did? Over and over again. It's a lot. So let's go to, now that we know, and even in Egypt, we was in Egypt ruling, right? So Most High didn't bring us in captivity, slavery, and bondage under the Egyptians because we was righteous. We went in there and started doing like the Egyptians was doing. Became Egyptians. Let's go to the time of Mashiach Shai on earth, in the flesh. Let's go to Luke 21 and 20. We're still dealing with we're not Africans. Luke 21 and 20. He said, and when ye shall see, he prophesying, and we shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Know that the time that you're going to be destroyed is near. When you see Jerusalem, we're in Jerusalem, you're going to see Jerusalem compassed with armies. And say, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. The desolation of being destroyed is near. He told us, then let them which are in Judea, in the land of Israel, in Judea, flee to the mountains. That's going into it, the land of Africa. That was, as we know it today, the land of Ham, as is known in the Bible. He told us to flee into Africa. And let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter therein. Why? But these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. So remember, I can't say it enough, when the Mashiach Shai is here in the flesh speaking, there is no New Testament. There's only the law and the prophets. That's all he had to go by was the law and the prophets, the Old Testament. Okay? So he said, all things may be fulfilled. Let you know it was something that was prophesied in the Old Testament, the law and the prophets, that he's talking about would happen. Okay? So now, let's go to Psalm 79, chapter, to see what was said and to see what he's saying, all things might be fulfilled. That was already prophesied through the prophet King David. Psalm 79 and 1 down. O Most High, the heathen are come into thine inheritance, to the land of Judea and the land of Israel. Thy holy temple have they defiled. They have laid Jerusalem on heap. See? This happened in us warring against the Romans and all those that were joined with them as the superpower of the earth from 65 AD to, 65 AD to 70 AD. Approximately. The dead bodies of thy servants have they given to be meat unto the fowls of heaven, to the buzzards and birds of the heavens. The flesh of thy saints, who are the Israelites, the servants are the Israelites, the saints are the Israelites, unto the beasts of the earth. Their blood have they shed like water round about Jerusalem, and there was none to bury them. That's why he said when you see the city compassed with armies, know that your time of desolation is near. See, our blood was flowing through the city like water round about Jerusalem, and there was none to bury them. Say, we are become a reproach, a disgrace to our neighbors, a scorn and a derision to them that are round about us. How long, Most High? Wilt thou be angry forever? Shall thy jealousy burn like fire? His name is jealous, I'm telling y'all. So when he brought this on us, but see, if you read the Bible, you don't know anything about your culture, about your story, then you have to read this and think, oh, that's just song. This prophecy that Messiah is saying was fulfilled. He said, pour out thy wrath upon the heathen that have not known thee. When I read Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 7, when salvation, power, and authority is coming to the Israelites on this earth, Edomites and all the other nations that's not Israelites going to say, hey, we weird ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. We have gone through deserts where there lay no way. As for the way of the Most High and Mashak, we have not known it. That's what it says. Pour out thy wrath upon the heathen that have not known thee, and upon the kingdoms that have not called upon thy name. They ain't calling upon the name of the Most High. But they have devoured Jacob and laid waste his dwelling place. They took all our riches. So you understand, when we fell, they got rich. Or remember not against us former iniquities, crying to the Most High. Remember not against us former iniquity, former things that we done against him that was evil and wicked and sinful. Let that tender mercy speedily prevent us, for we are brought very low. Help us. You think this ain't crying to the Most High? Help us, O Most High, of our salvation, for the glory of thy name. Remember he said he's going to do it for his name's sake? His name is in our name. So this is wisdom, proper application of knowledge. How we applying this in something that works. Because it's for his name's sake. You see this over and over again. And deliver us and purge away our sins for thy name's sake, right? That's why he told us, look, hold that. Get Psalms 48. Oh, praise the Most High one right there. Listen, in verse 10, it says, behold, I have refined thee, talking to we the Israelites, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. That's hard bondage. He said we're going to have to serve. And making sure that he proven us that we're worthy to be his. Listen what it says. Why? He chose in the furnace of affliction. Why? For mine own sake. Hear that? For mine own sake. Even for mine own sake will I do it. For how should my name be polluted? His name is in our name. Yah, Shar Allah. He said, how should my name be polluted? And I will not give my glory unto another. See? So here we are, crying to the Most High. Psalm the 79th chapter, verse 9. And these are the things that we can look at to help us cry unto the Most High in these times that we live in now. Psalm 79 and 9. Help us, O Most High, of our salvation for the glory of thy name, and deliver us and purge away our sins for thy name's sake. See? That's wisdom. For thy name's sake. Because he said for his name's sake, he going to do it, right? Wherefore should the heathen say, where is their power? I thought they had the power of powers. Where is their power? Why are you going to let these other nations outside the 12 tribes of Israel say, where is their power? Let him be known among the heathen in our sight by the revenging of the blood of thy servants which is shed, killing us. Where is their power now? As they killed us. And he said our blood flowed to the city like water. The fowls, the birds ate up our bodies, and the beast. Let the sign of the prisoner come before thee. According to the greatness of thy power, preserve thou those that are appointed to die. Stop them from us from killing them. And render unto our neighbors sevenfold into their bosom their reproach, their disgrace. Wherewith they have reproached thee, O Most High. See? Let them know, hey, they reproaching you, Most High. So we thy people, and sheep of thy pasture, the 12 tribes of Israel, will give thee thanks forever. We'll say the water, Yahweh, forever. About Shema Mashiach Yahushai, forever and ever and ever. I will love you, I will love you, I will love you. We will show forth thy praise to all generations. We're going to praise the Most High forever and ever and ever. But what is written, like Mashiach Yahushai said, hey, you let us know when you see these Roman arms. Matter of fact, let's go back to Babylon, Temple 2, and let's go to verse 84. This is by Rudolph R. Windsor, historian. Remember we read from page 90? Now we're reading from page 84. This is what he wrote. In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. So from 65 BC, the Romans captured Jerusalem, where we were at as the Israelites. In 70 AD, that's from 65 BC all the way to 70 AD, almost 100 years, minus 5, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state, or the Israelite state, because we're not Jewish. ISH is subject meaning pertaining to being like a Jew. We are the Jews. But like I said earlier, he might have put that in there so that he could actually have his book published. He can go worldwide. With great slaughter, it says, during the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa. Remember Mashiach said, when you see the cities compassed with armies, flee into the mountains. That's when we fled into Africa. Fleeing from what? Roman persecution. Because the Romans are the one that put a Mashiach Yahushai to death, the so-called white man. The Romans are the so-called Italian Caucasians. Fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves, what we know as Israelite slaves. And he gives the scripture, Deuteronomy 28 and 64, as I quoted earlier. But let's read what it says. And the Most High shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. That's the religions. This prophecy and all the residue of the prophecies contained in Deuteronomy 28, 15 to 68 befell the black Jews. Now he's bringing it on home, without a shadow of doubt. The black Jews, after they disobeyed the laws of the Most High. Many nations transported the Jews into slavery, and the sons of Israel transmigrated to every continent. See? And this is what happened to we, the children of Israel. Look at Luke 21 and 24. It says, Luke 21st chapter, the 24th verse. It says, and they shall fall by the sword, the edge of the sword, Salakia, and shall be led away captive into all nations. You see that? Just like we just read in Babylon and Timbuktu by the historian Rudolph R. Windsor on page 84. He said, Mashiach shall tell us, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So they're in our land, and they're going to be there until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled, as it is written. So now, Spirit, let's see, look at, from historian Rudolph R. Windsor again, Babylon and Timbuktu. We're going to go to page 133. It says, before Dr. Godby published this book, The Lost Tribes, a Myth, Rabbi Matthew organized a Hebrew congregation in 1918 and proclaimed that the black people of the United States and the West Indies are the original black Hebrews. There are hundreds of thousands of black African, he's saying African, Hebrews scattered throughout the United States, because that's the land we came from. A lot of us didn't come from Africa. We were already here. The indigenous, the aboriginal people of this land. But that's another topic. But most people don't even understand that or know that. Not only in the urban areas, but also in the rural communities of this nation. With the revelation of ample historical evidence, the authenticity of these black Hebrews can no longer be questioned. However, in regard to the purity of their Judaism among some of these Jews, that is another issue. Or we're not dealing with Judaism. That's why I say, when you learn as time goes on, we're dealing with the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, having faith in the Most High. Period. Judaism, that's a religion of the Jewish people. We're not dealing with that. Because with that come the Kabbalah and the Talmud, and we don't need nothing but the holy word of the Most High, the law, statutes, commandments, and the prophets and the New Testament, from Genesis all the way to Revelation and everything in between. So, let's look who sold us. Go to Joel, the 3rd chapter. The book of Joel, the 3rd chapter. Because a lot of people don't, you just think we just gave ourselves up into captivity? No, we didn't. We did not. Joel, the 3rd chapter, and look at verse 4. Joel 3 and 4 says, yeah, and what have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon? These are coastal cities above Israel on the northern western border. It says, yeah, and what have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon? These are so-called Africans that was living in, that most are identifying as Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine. Now, who the Palestinians today? The Arabs. Will you render me a recompense? Most High saying, and if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? On your own head. Most High said. So look at verse 6. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem, this is Judah, Benjamin, Levi, primarily, and all those tribes that were joined with us. The children also of Judah, because we all call it Judah. And the children of Jerusalem have ye sold to who? Unto the Grecians. Sold unto the so-called white man. Why? That ye might remove them far from their border. Hear that? They might remove us far from our border. Who? The Africans, the so-called Africans, and the so-called Arabs. The Hamites and the Ishmaelites. Verse 3, what did they do? And they have cast lots for my people. They cast lots for us. They bid it for us. You know they cast lots on the auction blocks. But before we got here, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot. A little boy they sold to have sex with them. A boy, look at that documentary, Goodbye Uncle Tom. You see, they sold a boy for an harlot, a prostitute, to have sex with men. And so the girl, little girl, for wine, just for wine, that they might drink. This is what they did. So let's go to Psalms, the 83rd chapter. And let's see what David is prophesying. It says, keep not thou silent, O Most High. Verse 1 down. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Most High. Why? For lo, thine enemies, so the Most High have enemies. O Mashiach Shai have enemies. You can't say you're a friend and you love the Most High and you put him to death. You put his only begotten son to death. That's why our people are really bugged out, man. That's why David's saying, hey, don't be silent, O Most High. Hold not thy peace. Be not still, O Most High. So if he ain't gonna hold his peace, he bringing war. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. They make an uproar. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. You hear that? He said his enemies and those that hate the Most High and the Mashiach Shai lift up the head. That's pride. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, we the Israelites, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They consulted against the hidden ones, Most High's hidden ones. Who we are. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being what? A nation. Let us cut them off from being a nation. Why? That the name of Israel, we being the Israelites, may be no more in remembrance. Our names will be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They consulted together with one consent. They all agreeing together. All these nations agreeing together to take our name as being the Israelites out of existence, so we wouldn't know who we were of the past. But all this, now we do know. But 2/3 of our people not going to ever know. And if they do know, it doesn't matter, because they still going to follow the way of the heathen, like you see now. Do this, they do it. They still have a slave mentality. It takes time to learn this. You got to put your due diligence in and endure. I mean, everybody respect diligence. But if you think you're going to make it to the kingdom, you're going to be like they teach you in the religions, all you got to do is call on the name of the Lord, you're going to be saved. You better think again. Because you'll be judged by what you've done that was good and evil. If you don't accept this, then don't expect the Most High to accept you. You right with the enemies and the haters of the Most High. Look, he gonna name them. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. That's why it's always divide and conquer with us. That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. That we as being the Israelites be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are a confederate against thee. Hear that? They consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against the Most High. Who? Now it's going to name who? The tabernacles of Edom. He naming nations. Not individuals, like y'all talk about it. Individual going to be judged. He naming nations. That's the enemies and the haters of the Most High. The first one he named is the tabernacles of Edom. That's the so-called white man. That's why he said, hey, our iniquities are pardoned in the end. You're going to look upon the sins of the Edomites, who was the last ruler of this world. Verse 1, it says, they lift up their head right in pride. He said, the tabernacles of Edom, so-called white man. And the Ishmaelites, the Arabs, had their hand in selling us. We just read about it. Palestinians, even unto this day. Enemies and haters of the Most High. Of Moab, the Chinese, enemies and haters of the Most High. Took crafty counsel to take our name out of existence. Nations, and the Hagarenes, so-called Africans, Gebal, more Africans, and Ammon, so-called Japanese, and Amalek, Esau's illegitimate grandson. That's the Jewish people today. The Philistines, more so-called Africans. And the inhabitants of Tyre, so-called Africans, and we read about Tyre and Zidon. Ashur, that's the Assyrians, also was joined with them. They have hoped the children of Lot. So, they are the enemies and haters of the Most High. That's why Zephaniah 2, go to Zephaniah, the 2nd chapter. Zephaniah 2 and 1. He's telling, say, gather yourselves together. Yeah. Gather together, O nation not desired. You see, we're not desired. All these nations got together to take the name of Israel out of existence. But the Most High say he's going to do that. And see, that's why he said his ways and his thoughts are not our ways and thoughts. But he said he's going to do that if we ain't follow him. And we didn't. So therefore, what he said, he going to fulfill. And he used his enemies and haters of him to do it. But he's telling us now, gather yourself together. Yeah, gather together, O nation not desired. Before the decree bring forth. Before the day pass as the shaft. You hear that? The day's gonna come, gonna pass as a shaft, like the week, the part of the week that just thrown away. That's how the day's gonna pass, like the shaft. Before the fierce anger of the Most High come upon you. Don't sound no love to me. He said, before the fierce anger of the Most High come upon you. Before the day of the Most High's anger come upon you. Haven't we had enough of the Most High's wrath? Haven't we felt all the oppressive states that we've been in, from captivity after captivity after captivity, over and over and over again, until now you see we just locked into this system. Like they really love you. When they the enemies of the Most High. And the haters of the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But they love you. But they hate him. We just read it. You better think. Before the day of the Most High's anger come upon you. Seek ye the Most High. All ye meek of the earth. Ain't nobody more meeker than us. Israelites, which have wrought his judgment. Now we read Psalms 147, 19 and 20. These other nations have not wrought his judgment. We the only ones got the judgment of the Most High. Punishment for breaking his laws, his rules and regulations. Which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness. Hear what he said? Seek righteousness. Right? How do we seek righteousness? Deuteronomy 6:25. Hold that. Deuteronomy 6:25. What's righteousness? Seek righteousness. Deuteronomy 6:25. And it shall be our righteousness if, was a condition, we observe to do all these commandments before the Most High our power, as he have commanded us. That's being righteous. To do his commandments. That's why I say seek righteousness in Zephaniah 2 and 3. Seek his commandments, his laws. Seek meekness, seek humility. It may be ye shall be hid in the day of the Most High's anger. You see? He not coming with no love. You don't have no war with no love. You have war with anger. The day of the Most High's anger, when he going to bring righteousness on this earth. Why he telling us to seek righteousness, seek his law, statutes, commandments, come back to him before it's too late.